The SG Child Show is back for its 13th season. Join Sarah Bradford and the SG Child Show team as they explore the world of autism and share stories of hope and inspiration. This season, we're excited to bring you more autism summits featuring experts and advocates from around the world. Go to sjchilds.org to donate and to get more information. Congratulations on 2024's 20,000 downloads and 300 episodes.
Woo! We are back. Hello. Yay! So excited to have you here today with me, Miss Dr. Kristen Williamson. How are you today?
I'm good. Please just call me Kristen. Doctor is really useful when I want to get a cool hotel room, but other than that,
I love it. That's so great. It's so great to have you here today. You know, we've already started out in wonderful energy. Our conversation is already bubbly and exciting. I'm just thrilled to get into this with you today. Before we get started, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you here today.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I love this. I try to have a rehearsed script in my brain because my brain likes scripts, but it's funny because I tend to deviate every time. Hi, my name's Kristen, Dr. Kristen Williamson. I am a professional counselor by trade. I have my doctorate in behavioral health management. I did not get diagnosed with autism until I was 39. Same with ADHD. I have tiny humans. I guess they're not so tiny anymore. I have a 13 and a 15-year-old. My 13-year-old girl, ADHD. My 15-year-old boy, ADHD and autism.
Are we matching families? What?
I tell you what, it is. And of course, my kiddos got diagnosed well before I did. Funny enough, my boy, not so much my girl. She didn't get diagnosed until 12 because females tend to get missed. And so that's a rabbit hole I'll go down an entirely different time. But because I got diagnosed, I want to come make everything cool and normalized and see that our brains are kind of superpowers, even if the superpowers don't always make us feel great in the moment.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth? Oh, I love that. I love that. Wow. You just clicked our whole family box. We got hubby and me and my husband were late diagnosed in our 40s. He was 30. He was in his 30s still. I'm a little older. So, cougar mom, but then my son was diagnosed at 16 months.
Oh,
our daughter at 8 years old. So like you said, there's that huge lap. But there was also a big difference in severity in that you could tell this spinning, flapping, humming child at not even 2 years old that obviously could not communicate with the world, was very severe at the time. But then we had this brilliant 2-year-old who, with a Gestalt learning processing, spoke in these entirely huge phrases to speak with us. And you were like, Are you a professor? Where did you come
Oh my gosh. That's exactly right. You are totally spot on with the different level of support needs on a day-by-day basis. Yeah. My kiddo, my oldest, he didn't get diagnosed until he was 8, but I had a pediatrician when he was probably around 18 months, say, he's autistic. And that just totally kicked my world into a tailspin. But because we're a military family, moving bases, things get missed.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
For the longest time, until we had moved into the Texas area, there wasn't a continuity of care. And so he really didn't get seen until preschool, when he was hiding under the desk, when I was on a name-by-name basis with every one of his teachers and principals and vice principals and and I always wanted to be that parent that's like, okay, teachers, I'm not saying this is on you. I'm saying please tell me what's happening, because I want to help try to work on this at home to help make life easier for everybody. Because when we're learning, I don't want to say that simultaneously, that's not the right one. When everything's kind of fluid and flowing together, it makes learning easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really when you're at that stage, we have a quote that we say, a little bit of knowledge turns fear into understanding. And isn't that the case? Like, as soon as you get that little bit of knowledge, that key factor that you can give support to, everything can change and it can make a world of difference.
My gosh. That little bit of knowledge. I love that. phrase I try to live my life with is lean in with curiosity.
I love that. Curiosity is my
Easier
favorite word.
said than done.
Yep.
Easier said than done. I'm still, as a parent, I've never been a parent to a 15, almost 16-year-old before. So we are learning together. And things that I think, oh, well, did that preconceived bias of this is what a 15-year-old does. This is what a boy does. I've never been a boy. I can't tell you this. And I'm like, well, you're just stinky. You're just this. You're just this. That. Actually, it turned out to be sensory issues. It tend to be other things. And so it's the giving myself grace and compassion to make mistakes and knowing that, okay, we're parents. What parent doesn't feel like they're making mistakes on at least a semi basis?
Yes, absolutely. If you don't, then you're not trying.
I feel like
then somebody else is raising your kids. But yeah, isn't that the truth? But yeah, it's so true. And I think that I love what you said because same thing. I have a 25-year-old. So I've raised an adult already. She's my stepdaughter. So I do have that little bit of, extra know what's going to happen. But that's for one person. They're also individual. Nothing happens twice.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. But it also was, she was very, she's not diagnosed, which is still a problem.
It's hard in itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really struggles. But with her growing up, it was always that, oh, she's so far behind like her social group and things. And it was so hard to figure that out. And we had bought a book when she was like 9 years old, like how to raise a 9-year-old. And we were going through this book and we were like, all of these things are, and it also kind of talked about like when they're 7 and when they're 8, they'll be going through this and that. And we're like, we're years behind here. She's not as a 9-year-old yet.
Oh my gosh.
So it kind of gave us this beautiful template of what normal things to look at, which of course didn't fit anyways, but whatever. But, it gave us a little bit of an outline to see that this was a little bit backwards. So yeah, it's crazy.
It's actually really interesting. You say that. I'm having a book come out next year and it's about females with autism and it goes from puberty through menopause because I couldn't find books for being neurodivergent, for being female. I had just been searching for this information and not finding it all. So I've got like 200 research journals and you're just coming in there and it looks like what puberty looks like. What coping skills we had then does not show up later on in life. I've had to relearn that one. And hey, this worked out well. And no, this is not working out flawlessly. And it's just being a female is hard. At least I can say that again, being female is hard, but then like with your stepdaughter not being diagnosed, I had a very long time in life I still feel like an alien.
Yeah.
I feel like an alien who's wearing the matching skin suit of a human.
Exactly.
And it's walking around. And I did this a lot as a kid, not knowing. And as an adult, I study people. I study human actions and TV shows. I remember watching Friends growing up and, this character got a laugh. She raised her eyebrow like this. Her voice inflection did this. And trying to mimic that to say, this is how I make friends. Yeah. We don't always talk about our love of cats or dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Do this or this.
Yeah. And it is so individual. And now, this outpouring, we're in this beautiful era, in this beautiful time where autism has never been more known and more widely spoken about than now. And how good that we have this opportunity to come to the forefront and say, yes, everyone's listening. Like, let's hear the right things. Let's teach you the right things. Let's get on board and bind together so that we can create this new perception of all of autism, not just that one, that one boy that was Rain Man or that one.
You are speaking my language.
Tricky.
That one. You are just so spot on. Rain Man came out in
for all you
80s.
listeners, you have this is my sister from Texas, by the way.
You what? I'm just feeling this online connection, which for me, I love because eye contact is hard. And so I'm like, yeah, we're doing great.
I think so. I think we're doing great.
You were just feeding into my hyperfixation of autism. I tell you what, I learned that Rain Man was really the first view of what autism was, and that came out in the 80s. And so that's what a lot of people in Hollywood was portraying, and then we still see it now, and this drives me bananas and just absolutely frustrated. Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper, absolutely autistic, but they didn't write that in there. They wrote him as, my mom tested me, I'm not crazy, I'm just weird, or he's just a jerk and he misses social things, and it's really funny. There is a TV show called Bones where the main character's Temperance Brennan. She's a forensic anthropologist, and she has a hard time with social cues, but she's so incredibly smart, but she's flat affect, and people pick on her for it, but she's still not autistic. She's just really smart. And it's
strange.
We're taking out, it's getting better, and I'm seeing that. And just as you said, we are coming out with, I'm autistic, I'm ADHD, I'm this, and look at how cool my life is. Yeah, I might struggle in these areas, but you know what? I make friends with animals at parties really easily.
I know every dog that walks by the house. I don't know their owner's name.
Nope. I have created stories of these animals that walk by, the birds that sit by my window. I have entire just outlines of what their life looks like.
Exactly.
And it's funny because I can do that. I still have a doctorate. I have a job. I do not cook very well at all. And I understand that is a struggle that I will always have. I don't enjoy cooking. I like eating.
Yeah.
But in eating, have you ever had chicken that tastes too much like chicken, or you can't have it the next day because the texture is different?
Yeah.
It's coming in and learning. That's where my brain is. And I didn't have any idea that this was a normal thing, that this was an allowable thing.
It is a normal thing, and it is allowable. My husband came up with this quote. He's my greatest quote sage. I'll tell you what, he did the other one, the knowledge one. And then he wrote this the other day. Oh, come on, Sarah, get it right. We do not have to prove to you who we are. We are undeniable. We don't argue about who we are to you. We're undeniable. We just last week I shared a story on my Facebook page that there was some research that found, and I'm not a scientist. Let me just basis that I'm not a historian. However, I'm a brilliant, brilliant person. And in this reading, I saw that it was based on that they had found autistic traits in Neanderthals, and that it just took us back down to, hunter-gatherer time, and the autistic traits of the hunter-gatherer. And I was like, yes, thank you. We are undeniable. We are of evolution. We are, this is who we are. Like,
let's add more to that. Oh my gosh, we are just kindred spirits, because I talk about this in the hunter-gatherers, the ADHD brain versus the autism brain. The hunters were the ADHD brain. They could go hyperfixate for days. They don't have to eat. They don't have to do these things. We are getting to that animal to bring in food and sustenance for our family. We're the autism brain. Let's gather. Let's just collect all of these specific things to eat and hoard and harvest and do, and just the rhythmic, repetitive things that make our brain feel tickled and good.
Yeah. Isn't that fascinating? I love it. And I think that we need to share this, and we need to keep talking about this, and we need to put it into people's faces. Like, autism was not something that was just, made up last week. Like, this is something in our evolution of our entire lifetimes of generations of people. And yes, it's great that technology and this glimpse or this preview is being done, and we're able to see more. But let's also remember that every individual, before we even had this knowledge, was a human, and all came with the same human needs, desires. Like, we want to be loved, we want to be seen, we want to belong to somewhere.
We want to belong.
Yes.
I think there's such an amount of power in even those who don't come in and get a diagnosis, because being an American and an adult, it is very expensive to get a diagnosis. And so I think one of the very small, tiny benefits I can say about the COVID era is when the world shut down, we went online and we shared our stories.
Yeah.
And in sharing those stories, we learned we are not alone. We have that connection. And oh my gosh, you have a hard time brushing your teeth. I have a hard time brushing my teeth. Oh, for you, it feels like 17 tasks to take a shower. That's me too. And just kind of learning, hey, visual chaos on the counter is a thing that gives you anxiety. Me too. And they're just learning about their brains, and they're coming in and they're able to advocate, and maybe not with necessarily a diagnosis, but to say, I have a really hard time with noise. I have a lot of anxiety that comes in shopping at a grocery store for me, like Costco and Sam's, when the ceilings are so high up there, that it gives me, I also have a hard time going into Home Depot and Lowe's because the ceilings are so high. And I never realized that made me feel stressed out until I started paying attention to it.
Yeah. And then you can honor that so much. And how about that? Like, let's talk about self-care and honoring your own self, especially as an autistic female.
Oh, man.
What a big, like, you have to actually schedule time for yourself. I have to make myself do the thing. You have to take time for yourself. If, you're in menses, you have got to you cannot push through. It is not the time to push through. It's the time to take a step back, time to reflect, time to rest, time to, and I love and all totally, truly believe in the moon and the moon cycle and the chemicals that we get from the energies and all. And I have my chart that tells me,
that's amazing.
A cyclamine is the energy or the chemical that shoots in your brain when it's a new moon. So it's exciting and active and you want to create
things.
Gosh. And then dopamine, is in your brain on a full moon, and you just want to sleep and be lazy and not do the thing. So honor those cycles for yourself. Learn about those cycles and honor those, and how you can also get so much productivity done in those, in knowing those things as well. You can kind of schedule all your products or projects for the new moon era when you have all this exciting cyclamine energy.
I think that's fantastic. I have a client. She told me her husband calls it her morning zoomies.
Oh,
and she's like, I never realized it, but I do have morning zoomies. I am more productive in these times. And just as you're saying, coming in and honoring that and saying, I don't have to schedule 9 tasks for the evening when I don't have the energy. Let me do these things that take more bandwidth. My phrase is, I eat the ugly frog first, and I'm going to do the heavy thing when I have that energy to do it, because doing the fun things later on is a reward for me, where some people want to have that reward first in order to get that dopamine activated to do the harder things. And neither one of those are wrong.
No. Yeah. And isn't it nice that we can now kind of find this balance where maybe the word normal and typical might be done away with? Let's just do away with crazy words, right? Because the fact that none of us ever have been the same. Give us kind of a big idea that we don't need to have these cookie cutter normalized ideas that anything really goes that direction. So
it's life living in the shoulds.
Yeah.
Life should go this way. I should do this. I should do this. Let me tell you about the shame that comes with the shoulds.
Yeah, don't should on me. Thank you very much.
Don't should on me. Don't should on yourself.
Exactly.
There is no time and space for shoulds. I have switched it out for, I can do this. I get to do this. I would like to do this. Ooh, I wish I did do this.
Yeah, exactly. And there's still so much more. People think that there's this kind of, they have to do these things, or, they only have so much time. You can recreate yourself no matter what your age is, what you're doing. recreate. Like I have lived, it feels like I've lived 100 lives and I'm only 49. Now I just turned 49, bless my heart. So halfway through my life, here's my halfway point. I don't know if I'm going to make it to 100. I'm just saying that, but halfway, you know, and I've lived so many lives. There's so much more to come. There is so much more to come because the better it gets, the better it gets.
I love that. With the you can start over at any time with ADHD. I heard this on a podcast. I could not tell you which one, but I loved it so much. We have a 100% failure rating for habits and hobbies, and we'll get into it, and it's going to be great. And I'm taking my medicine at this time every day until that one day I forget, and then the entire habit's gone.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean we can't start over.
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing is, even if we misstep, even if we go on a different pathway, okay, we can start over. It's being brave enough to suck at something new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And bravery is something that, you know, I don't know that each individual person has it. I don't know where it comes from, if it's learned, if it's just, you know, innate, if you just have it within you. But I think that resilience, obviously, that, you know, being resilient, got to go through things to sometimes get that resilience.
Yeah.
But what about when you are a parent and you are having this struggle with your kiddo at home and you don't know where to look for help? What do you, first off, where do you send people to, you know?
Such a good question. That's such a good question. And I wish I had an easy answer to give you for that, because just as I said earlier, we are not a one-stop shop in human behavior, in parenting, and every kiddo is different. I think in parenting kids in general, it's a walk through Jurassic Park. It's not an easy park with a fun slide.
I love that.
Jurassic Park with all the dinosaurs. Again, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
But it's, for me, with my kiddo, when I learned he was on the spectrum, it opened up a whole bunch of different pathways, and then I could research and find support groups and parents who had been the same thing. With my daughter with ADHD, before even ADHD, she got diagnosed with anxiety, with all of these things, because girls get diagnosed with a plethora of things before they ever hit neurodiversity.
All of the depressions, yes.
All of the borderline personality, anxiety, panic attack, all of the things. But it's finding support groups with whatever you live for, raising boys, raising girls, raising twins, triplets, being a single kid household.
Yeah.
And it's finding these support groups. A lot of them, you can find it in something, Facebook groups, Reddit groups, meetup and parenting groups near you. And you try it out and you say, hey, this really fits for me. Or that was not anything that I would like to do again. But now you know. And it's not, there's going to be one book that gives you all the answers. No. There's not going to be one podcast or TV show. And with all the research I did for my book, I learned there is an inherent ableistic, allistic mindset in the parenting blogs and books and things that neurospicy parents miss out on. Getting that mentality of, oh, well, this is just an inherent thing that you know. I don't have the gut instinct of, oh, I know why my kid's crying. I'm going through my Rolodex, which is going to age me. My Rolodex of all the behaviors I've read in books and learned, and to see what was going on and like crossing off my list. Yeah. Nothing came easy. It wasn't you should just love this. Again, with the shoulds. I did not love being pregnant. It was awful. It was hard and hot.
I loved it. See, you can have different perspectives and still yeah.
And it does not make either of us less of a parent.
No, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Isn't that so fascinating? And oh man, my first, I'll tell you, 42 weeks pregnant, 65 hours of labor. Yeah. Finally had a C-section on that puppy.
Holy mackerel.
I know.
Wow.
Kind of used to joke and tease that I worked, I was a massage therapist and I worked at a gym, and so I was always around all the trainers and they were always, training people. And so very quickly in his life, he loved math and numbers. And I always used to joke that it was because all the people 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that's all he heard while he was all these people working out all the time and everything. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, it's so fascinating, the the world of autism. And like I said earlier, in 2012 or 2011, when our son was diagnosed, there was nothing. There were no blogs. There were hardly any books. Love Temple Grandin. Thank God she put out any information about it.
Love Temple Grandin.
All we had, I also love that now we can have a little bit broader perspective than just that as well. Because it encapsulates so much more than just one person can help you understand.
You are so spot on, actually, with Temple Grandin, because I love her so vehemently much. I will do a comparison, like Temple Grandin, and you put her next to me, I look very different. I come across and mask different. And even when I'm a recovering people pleaser, trying not to mask is very hard. Yeah. But just putting her next to me, we're both autistic. We both have support needs. Her needs look different than mine. Exactly. My needs look different than my son's, than my daughter's, than yours. But that's still, nope, I've got a spicy brain. And I call it neurospicy because I fully believe we have the spice of life, whether it's an intense spice or not.
I love that. I think so too. And, and it's great because I love that a lot of people, and I've heard this a lot. In fact, the podcast I just put out yesterday, the book the woman wrote is called The Alien Savant. So if you haven't read that, there's one for you.
Yes, I love new books.
Yeah, and she talks all about her brother's experience and how he was just like this alien in the world. And not only did he feel like that, but was also during that time period, which was like 60s, 70s, and 80s, he was very isolated as well. And people isolated from him, and alienated him. And just as fascinating, really kind of a view of what it was like. And I think it's important that we look at that because they're just things that we cannot have moving forward. Like we cannot, and instead of the shoulds, like the cannot haves, they have to be there. We need to be able to really access people's human dignity levels. And I think goodness. It's really hard. And maybe for me my husband had a sister with Down syndrome. And when I met him and came into his family, he already had this special heart and this beautiful care for someone who was so loving and, just was just a ball of love. Like that's all you can describe them. And so it's like this ease of getting into learning how to be with other people. But I think that it gave this edge to him and he gave to me this ability to just see how delicate and how fragile every human being is. My goodness, from my 2-year-old neighbor to my 85-year-old neighbor who yells at the dog, like everybody, they all have these delicate, dignified, like they need support. So
there's people in general. We all have value and worth, and for me, it's the leaning in with curiosity. And okay, did this person make a mean gesture at me while driving? Are they struggling with something? Am I driving in both lanes? Did I not pay attention? It's kind of a checking with myself versus leaning into, that was a really ugly move on their part. It's that we're responding to some things. Some people have more compassion than others.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I'm going to work as hard as I can to be as compassionate and understanding, but even still understanding that I'm human and fallible.
Yeah.
and not leaning into the shames of the shoulds.
Oh, that is so true. And no shame. I think that our society is really, I feel like in the last 20, 30 years has moved a lot further away from shame and judgment than ever before in allowing, just people to express themselves in the way that feels good to them and is pleasing and desirable.
Yeah.
And I think it's so nice that we're letting our children do that more, and kind of seeing that expression of who they want to be. And want to impress upon parents, like, don't try to change the child you have. Try to know and accept the child for who they are. And that's the kind of playing field of love that they need. They need that support on the level that they're at, not where you wish they would be.
And I wholeheartedly agree with you. And let me tell you how hard that is sometimes too. For me, having raising a kid on the spectrum and not knowing he was on the spectrum for a long time, there was a whole lot of, what am I doing wrong? And just feeling as a failing as a parent, and I'm not doing what my kid needs. But it's the whole, once you know better, do better.
Yeah.
And okay, he had a lot of sensory issues with food, but he didn't ever like anything wet. So soups or condiments or yogurts, and it's okay. You can have hamburgers without ketchup on it. You're still eating. Fed is best.
Yeah. And
it doesn't have to be, oh, well, that's not a tasty thing. I don't know how his taste buds are.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're spot on with the meeting them where they're at and then doing what you can to help them grow. He thankfully likes condiments somewhat now, like he's willing to try, but it also took many, many years of do you want to try this? No. Okay. But still offering it and not what's wrong with you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I think that we're in a really great era that we can really empower these parents to help see the child for the person they are, even if they have struggles. I mean, who doesn't have struggles, and really just offer kind of a plate of dignity, right? And just to show it's okay to struggle. Like I took this last year. We homeschooled my daughter's also 13, and she was experiencing a lot of physical bullying threats at school. And she's a really beautiful girl. And I think that I'm just going to say it, like, that sometimes you can have problems when people look at you and think that your life is great because you have a nice appearance. Like,
oh my gosh, yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy, but it happens to her a lot. Like, I literally see this happening. And I took her out of school, and I'll tell you what, and I'm sorry, teachers and educators that might get mad at me for this sentence. I did not focus on academics as much as I focused on inner knowing, on emotional well-being, on emotional intelligence. We talked about how to put boundaries down, how to have your own expression of when you want to say no, how to say no, how to say yes, how to ask for things. Like, I literally spent this whole year teaching her how to be herself, helping her learn how to be herself. I didn't teach her. Let me take that back. Helping her learn how to be herself, because I just followed and guided and followed. And that was the best thing I could have ever done for her.
My favorite thing I've ever taught my kids, and my daughter uses this against me, which sucks because the no is a full sentence.
Ooh,
and so I'm like, I want to take your picture. And she's like, no. And I'm like, but she goes, that's a full sentence. And I'm like,
yeah, I love that. That's so great. That's powerful.
It is, especially for anyone who grew up in the people-pleasing mentality.
Yeah.
No is a sentence all by itself. You don't have to explain.
That is so great. Well, I want to have you back on because I know that you have things you have to get to today. And I've just been such a pleasure to talk to you. So please, please, please tell me you'll come back.
Oh my gosh. Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Before we do close up for today, but I want to be able to let everyone go and visit you on social medias, come to your website, tell me all the good stuff so that I can share.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I try to put out videos multiple times a week on social media, in TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn. If you look up Dr. Kristen Williamson, you'll find this blonde-haired, multicolored blue or red, whatever dye I have in my hair at that time. If you look me up on Amazon, Dr. Kristen Williamson, I've got workbooks out there for what life is like being neurospicy. And I've got journals and workbooks, and I have a coloring book that's not
I love that.
awesomely put together. It was my first one, but it's all about being an alien, and all of the coloring pages are being alien and autistic.
Oh, I love that. That's great. And I think a lot of people relate to that. I always used to say that I was the unicorn in the horse pasture. That I was just
yes. Oh, I like that too.
You know, and I was just like literally unicorn, and everybody was just like, what's this gal over here?
I love that because unicorns are sparkly in my mind, and so that makes it better.
And I think you're gonna love this. One of the best compliments I've ever received in my life was in the last 2 or 3 weeks. And somebody said, I don't think I've ever met somebody with such an out there brain. And I went, yeah.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yes, I do too. And, you know, and when I was a kid, or I might have taken that the wrong way at some point in my life, but guess what? It is true. Like I can come up with ideas that the world has not come up with yet. And
isn't that amazing?
Powerful and magical and special and superpowery, just like you said.
Thank you so much for having me. This was amazing.
Oh, it really was. Thank you so much. And everybody, please go follow Dr. Kristen Williamson, all the social medias, TikTok, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, and go to Amazon. Also check out Dr. Kristen Williamson. Go see her, all her writings, and learn about how you can support all of the autistics in your life, whether you are a parent, an educator, a neighbor, a friend, an aunt, a great uncle, whatever you are, please step in and let's help bring this community together. So love it. Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. Oh, I'm so excited to keep this connection going with you. And I can't wait to stay in touch.
Thank you so much. Y'all have a good day.
Too.
Heart of the city, she's shining bright. Oh yeah, stories of love and courage all throughout the night. Her voice resonating, an anthem for all through the trials and the trials. She answers the call, a mother and a fighter, breaking barriers in stride. With love as her guide, she'll never hide. She's changing the world for you with the heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody. In our journey we all belong. Followers gather like stars in the night. So bright, 44,000 voices shared in the light. She stands for family, advocates for more. A movement of compassion, ways will soar. Podcast together, a symphony of support. Creating life, changing rapport. She's changing the world for you with a heart that's fierce and strong. Empathy's a melody. In a journey we all belong. Through her eyes, a vision clear. Together we ride, shedding fears in every heart. She plants the seed of understanding and love and dearly need. you'll never